Decoding the silent language of attraction is often like trying to read a map written in invisible ink. The information is all there, but it requires the right heat and perspective to become visible. When a man is a pro at hiding his feelings, he isn't necessarily being deceptive. Rather, he is often operating from a place of self-protection, high emotional stakes, or a desire to maintain a specific social equilibrium. This internal poker face can be incredibly convincing, leaving you in a state of perpetual does he or doesn't he limbo. However, human biology and subconscious psychology are notoriously difficult to bribe into silence. No matter how much a man masters his verbal output or his conscious facial expressions, his nervous system remains an open book to those who know how to read the subtle leaks in his composure. The challenge in identifying these signals lies in the nuance. We often look for the grand gestures, the sweeping declarations of love, or the obvious, heavy-handed flirting. But true interest from a reserved or cautious man lives in the micro-moments. It is found in the way his pupils dilate when you enter his line of sight, a physiological response controlled by the autonomic nervous system that no amount of playing it cool can suppress. It is found in the recall factor, where he remembers a passing comment you made 3 weeks ago about your favorite obscure childhood snack, proving that his brain is subconsciously prioritizing your data over the white noise of daily life. To understand a man who hides his feelings, one must look past the front he presents to the world and observe his baseline behavior versus his behavior in your presence. Psychology suggests that when we are attracted to someone, our bodies enter a state of mild physiological arousal, a low-level fight-or-flight response that manifests as fidgeting, preening, adjusting clothes or hair, or a sudden shift in vocal pitch. These aren't just random habits. They are evolutionary breadcrumbs designed to signal fitness and interest. Furthermore, the concept of proxemics plays a vital role. A man who is hiding his feelings will rarely walk up and tell you he wants to be near you, but you will find that he consistently ends up in your physical orbit. Whether it's choosing the chair next to yours in a crowded room or coincidentally heading to the break room at the same time as you, his feet are often more honest than his mouth. By analyzing these 15 specific headings, we move beyond guesswork and into the realm of behavioral science, stripping away the mystery of the stoic man to reveal the underlying warmth and interest that he is working so hard to contain. Understanding these signs doesn't just provide clarity. It gives you the confidence to navigate the connection with eyes wide open. 1. The protective pivot. The protective pivot is a subtle yet powerful physiological response that occurs when a man is subconsciously prioritizing your presence and safety. Even if he is trying to remain composed or cool, his body will often betray his true focus through a shift in his central axis. When you enter a room or speak, notice if his shoulders and torso rotate toward you, even if his feet remain planted or he is engaged in a different conversation. This is an instinctive centering of his attention. Beyond mere orientation, this pivot often manifests as a shielding gesture. In crowded or chaotic environments, he might position himself between you and the flow of traffic, or slightly angle his body to create a private bubble for the two of you. This isn't necessarily about physical danger. It's a manifestation of his psychological desire to be your primary point of focus and your safe harbor. It indicates that while he might be hiding his feelings verbally, his nervous system has already labeled you as a high-priority individual. By angling his chest, the most vulnerable part of the human torso, toward you, he is demonstrating a level of openness and protection that is rarely extended to casual acquaintances. Watch for the speed of this pivot. A rapid, almost involuntary shift when you speak is a hallmark of a man who is deeply attuned to your presence, regardless of the stoic expression he might be maintaining on his face. 2. The recall factor. The recall factor is one of the most reliable indicators of genuine interest because it requires a level of cognitive investment that cannot be easily faked. When a man likes you, he treats your words like valuable data points. He doesn't just hear what you say, he archives it. You might mention a specific brand of tea you enjoy, a childhood fear, or a deadline you're stressed about, and then completely forget you even brought it up. Weeks later, if he references that tea or asks how that specific deadline went, he is signaling that his brain is prioritizing information related to you. This level of detail-oriented memory is a direct byproduct of dopamine and oxytocin, which sharpen focus on a romantic interest. To hide his feelings, a pro will often try to bring these points up casually, as if it's just a coincidence he remembered. However, the sheer specificity of the recall gives him away. He isn't just remembering the big things like your birthday. He's remembering the micro details, the name of your first pet, or the specific reason you don't like a certain movie. This demonstrates that when you speak, he isn't just waiting for his turn to talk. He is actively building a mental map of your personality, your history, and your preferences. 3. Micro-adjustments in physical appearance. Even a man who is an expert at emotional concealment will struggle to suppress the preening instinct. This is an evolutionary behavior designed to make a person appear as attractive and fit as possible to a potential mate. When you appear, or when he knows he is about to interact with you, watch for micro-adjustments, smoothing down his hair, straightening his shirt, adjusting his watch, or checking his reflection in a window. These actions are often performed unconsciously. They represent a sudden spike in self-consciousness triggered by your presence. A man who is hiding his feelings will try to make these movements look accidental or routine. But the timing is the giveaway. If he stands up a little straighter, the chest out, stomach in posture, the moment you walk into the room, he is trying to project strength and vitality. This behavior is rooted in the biological need to stand out from the competition. Even if he's acting indifferent, his body is working overtime to ensure he looks his best in your eyes. This also extends to fixing things in your environment, picking a piece of lint off your sleeve or moving a stray hair. These small, grooming-adjacent actions are highly intimate and suggest a level of comfort and attraction that he hasn't yet put into words. 4. Inconsistent intensity of eye contact. While pro-hiders often know that staring can be a giveaway, their attempts to compensate usually result in a pattern of inconsistent intensity. You might catch him looking at you with a deep, lingering gaze when he thinks you aren't paying attention, the kind of look that feels heavy and weighted with unspoken emotion. However, the moment you make eye contact back, he might quickly look away or suddenly become fascinated by his phone or the floor. This look-away reflex is a defense mechanism. He is afraid that if you look too closely into his eyes, you'll see the truth. Conversely, some men will overcompensate by maintaining too much eye contact, trying to prove they are unfazed by your presence. The key is the shift. If he is relaxed and steady with everyone else but becomes either hyper-focused or unusually shifty with you, his equilibrium is being disrupted. Another sign is the triangular gaze, where his eyes move from your eyes to your mouth and back. This is a subconscious preparation for intimacy and is incredibly difficult to mask. Even if he's talking about something mundane like the weather, if his eyes are performing this rhythmic scan, his subconscious is focused on a much more romantic frequency. 5. The subtle mirroring of body language. Mirroring is a psychological phenomenon where one person subconsciously imitates the gestures, speech patterns, or attitude of another to build rapport. When a man is attracted to you, he will often sync up with you. If you lean back in your chair, he'll lean back a few seconds later. If you take a sip of your drink, he takes a sip of his. If you use a specific slang word or hand gesture, he might start incorporating it into his own vocabulary. This isn't mockery. It's the brain's way of saying, I am like you. We are on the same wavelength. A man hiding his feelings won't realize he's doing this because it's controlled by mirror neurons in the brain. It creates a sense of harmony and mutual understanding. You can test this by making a distinct, non-obvious movement, like crossing your ankles or resting your chin on your hand, and seeing if he follows suit within a minute. If he does, it's a strong sign that he is deeply tuned into your frequency. This synchronization is one of the most primal ways humans show social and romantic alignment. It's a silent conversation where his body is saying yes to yours, even if his mouth is saying I'm just a friend. 6. Proximity, finding reasons to be near. Proxemics is the study of human use of space, and when it comes to attraction, proximity is everything. A man who likes you will consistently end up in your physical orbit, often appearing to do so by accident. He might choose the seat next to you in a meeting, stand near you in a group circle, or happen to be heading to the coffee machine at the exact same time as you. While he might play it off as a coincidence, the frequency of these encounters suggests a deliberate, though perhaps subconscious, effort to close the gap. He is testing your personal space boundaries. Notice if he leans in closer to you than he does to others when speaking. Does he let his shoulder brush yours while walking? These are micro-encroachments. If he were truly indifferent, he would maintain a standard social distance of 3 to 4 feet. By consistently hovering within your intimate zone, about 18 inches, he is attempting to establish a physical connection. Even if he's a pro at hiding it and keeps the conversation strictly professional or casual, the fact that he keeps choosing to be in your space rather than across the room is a loud, silent confession of his interest. 7. Subconscious foot direction. The feet are often considered the most honest part of the human body because we rarely think about what they are doing while we focus on our facial expressions and words. In body language psychology, the feet point toward where the heart wants to go. Even if a man is turned away from you, talking to someone else, or pretending to be busy, check the direction of his toes. If they are pointed directly at you, you are his primary point of interest. This is especially telling in a group setting. If he's laughing at someone else's joke but his feet are angled toward you, he is subconsciously seeking your reaction or signaling that you are the person he is most connected to in that moment. Conversely, if he's talking to you but his feet are pointed toward the door, he's likely looking for an exit. A pro at hiding his feelings might control his smile and his eyes, but he almost never remembers to control his feet. This leaked information is a direct line to his subconscious desires. It's a primitive survival instinct. We point our feet toward things we find attractive or rewarding and away from things that cause us stress or indifference. 8. The hero instinct response. The hero instinct is a biological drive in many men to feel essential, capable, and needed by the people they care about. If a man likes you, he will often look for small ways to save the day, even if it's just by offering a technical tip, carrying a heavy bag, or giving you advice on a problem you mentioned. A man hiding his feelings will try to frame this as just being a nice guy or being helpful, but the intensity and consistency of his help give him away. He wants to be your go-to person. He will listen for problems in your life that he can solve. This behavior is an attempt to prove his value to you. If he's a pro at hiding it, he won't make a big show of his help, but he will be remarkably reliable. You'll notice he's the first one to offer a jumpstart for your car or the one who stays late to help you finish a project. By stepping into this provider or protector role, he is building a bond of dependency and trust. He wants to feel like he has a special place in your life that no one else can fill, which is a hallmark of romantic intent. 9. Digital responsiveness and active listening. In the modern age, time is the most valuable currency, and how a man spends it digitally says a lot about his feelings. Even if he's cool in person, pay attention to his digital habits. Does he respond to your texts quickly? Does he send low-stakes messages just to keep the conversation going, like memes or interesting articles? A man who is hiding his feelings will often use the digital world as a safe space to interact because it feels less exposing than a face-to-face encounter. Furthermore, when you are talking in person, look for active listening cues. This involves more than just nodding. He'll ask follow-up questions that prove he's processing the emotional subtext of your story, not just the facts. He'll put his phone away completely when you're speaking, a rare sign of respect in today's world. This focused attention is a form of intimacy. If he treats your words as if they are the most important thing in the room, he's not just being polite, he's demonstrating that he values your inner world. A man who doesn't like you won't exert the mental energy required for this level of deep, sustained engagement. 10. The playful provocation or teasing. For many men, especially those who are afraid of being vulnerable, teasing is a safe way to create intimacy and physical tension without having to admit to serious feelings. This is often called pro-social teasing. He might make light-hearted jokes about your quirks, your taste in music, or a silly mistake you made. The goal here is to create an inner circle of two, a shared language or set of inside jokes that only the two of you understand. If he's a pro at hiding his feelings, He'll use this humor as a smokescreen. If things get too serious or if he feels exposed, he can just say, "I'm just kidding." However, notice the vibe of the teasing. Is it mean-spirited, or is it designed to make you smile and engage with him? If it's the latter, it's a form of flirting in disguise. He is poking at you to get a reaction, to see you laugh, and to keep your attention fixed on him. It's a way of testing the waters of your chemistry. By creating these moments of shared playfulness, he is building an emotional bridge while pretending he's just one of the guys. 11. Protective instincts in group settings. A man's behavior often changes when other people are around, especially potential competitors. Even if he's acting distant toward you individually, watch how he reacts when another man enters the conversation or shows you attention. He might suddenly become more present, subtly moving closer to you or interjecting to reclaim your attention. This is a subtle form of mate guarding. Additionally, he'll exhibit protective behaviors that seem accidental. He might walk on the street side of the sidewalk when you're together or keep a watchful eye on you at a loud party. If you're in a group and someone makes a joke at your expense, he might be the one to quickly change the subject or offer a subtle defense. These small acts of loyalty are highly revealing. He is showing that he has your back, even if he hasn't told you he has your heart. In his mind, he is already your unofficial protector. He wants you to feel safe and supported when you're with him, which is a key component of a romantic foundation. 12. Dilated pupils and physiological arousal. This is a sign that is virtually impossible to hide because it is controlled by the autonomic nervous system. When we look at something we find attractive, beautiful, or exciting, our pupils naturally dilate. This is often called bedroom eyes. If you are in a well-lit room and his pupils are noticeably large while talking to you, it's a biological indicator of arousal and intense interest. Beyond the eyes, look for other physiological signs. Does his voice drop in pitch or become slightly more gravelly, the masculine vocal shift? Does he seem to breathe a bit more deeply, or does he flare his nostrils? These are all signs of a body that is responding to a high-stakes interaction. A man can rehearse his words and his smile, but he cannot command his pupils to stay small or his heart rate to stay steady. These micro-stresses indicate that your presence is physically affecting him. If he seems a little charged or slightly breathless when you're around, it's because his body is in a state of mild fight or flight, not because he's scared, but because he's excited. 13. The vulnerability test, sharing personal details. A pro at hiding his feelings usually keeps his guard up, but occasionally he will test the relationship by dropping a piece of real vulnerability. He might share a story about a past failure, a dream he has, or a personal struggle he's currently facing. This is a significant move. Men are often socialized to hide weakness, so if he chooses you as the recipient of this information, he is essentially saying, "I trust you with the real me." He is watching to see how you react. If you respond with empathy and hold that vulnerability, he feels a surge of connection. He might immediately pull back after sharing, feeling he's revealed too much, which is a classic move for someone hiding their feelings. But the fact that he opened the door at all is proof that he sees you as more than just a casual friend. He's looking for a safe place to land, and by sharing his inner thoughts, he's inviting you into a deeper part of his life that he keeps hidden from the rest of the world. 14. Unconscious physical touches. Touch is the ultimate barrier breaker. A man who likes you will often find logical reasons to touch you, even if he's trying to stay under the radar. It might be a brief touch on the small of your back to guide you through a doorway, a high five that lasts a second too long, or accidentally brushing his hand against yours while reaching for something. These are called non-sexual grooming or affiliation touches. They are designed to test your reaction. If you don't pull away, his brain receives a green light signal. Pay attention to the quality of the touch. Is it clinical and brief, or does it feel warm and deliberate? Even a pro hider will struggle with the urge to be physically close to the person they desire. He might also touch by proxy, fiddling with your keys, holding your bag, or playing with a pen you just used. By interacting with your objects, he is subconsciously trying to connect with your energy. These small physical connections are his way of saying, "I want to be close to you," without having to risk the rejection of a formal move. 15. The laughter check-in. This is one of the most charming and consistent signs of attraction. When a group of people laughs at a joke, everyone instinctively looks at the person they feel closest to or the person whose opinion they value most. If you're in a group and someone tells a joke, notice where he looks first when the laughter starts. If his eyes immediately find yours, he is checking in with you. He wants to see if you thought it was funny, or he wants to share that moment of joy specifically with you. It's a way of seeking validation and creating a micro-moment of connection in a crowded room. Even if he's been ignoring you all night or acting cool, this split-second instinct reveals his true priority. It shows that, even in a sea of people, you are the North Star of his social experience. He cares more about your reaction than anyone else's. This check-in is a powerful indicator that his emotional focus is locked on you, regardless of how much effort he puts into pretending otherwise during the rest of the conversation.